Welcome back to the Builder's Bench. I'm Craig Larkins. Joining us on the bench today is VRCA President Jeannine Martin to talk about one of the biggest nights on the VRCA calendar. And for our members, the Awards of Excellence. Jeannine, welcome back to the bench and happy Construction Month.
Happy Construction Month to you, and thank you for having me on the bench. It's amazing. I sit next to the bench, but I rarely get to be on the bench.
Jeannine is literally one room over from us right now. Let's dive into the Awards of Excellence. Of course, it's the Construction Month. We're celebrating the month in general, but come October, we'll be celebrating projects from across the Lower Mainland in our membership. So for those who aren't familiar, what are the Awards of Excellence all about?
Yes, so the Awards of Excellence are the premier recognition from the Lower Mainland construction industry. We've been hosting these awards for 37 years, and the program has become one of the most respected forms of achievement for the industry in BC. So I think what began as a way to celebrate outstanding projects and craftsmanship has evolved into something even much more meaningful than that, which is the recognition of all of those things and then the addition of innovation, resilience, and collaboration. So the Awards of Excellence are really a guide of what's happening in the industry.
And we should point out, this is a year-long process where we have the submittal process, nomination process, judging process, and then the actual awards handed out. So the nomination period is open right now.
It is, absolutely.
If a company is on the fence thinking about submitting a project, what would you say to them to get them over that finish line?
Yes, yeah. So I think of this a lot. So the Awards of Excellence are a great way to celebrate construction, as noted, achievement, and to receive recognition for the work that our member companies are doing. In addition, for a company, a member company, the momentum and camaraderie that is created with a project team that submits an award, gets a silver, and then potentially gets a gold at the Awards of Excellence creates a bond that is almost immeasurable as far as achievement. As we know, projects rarely move along without any issues or things that happen that the company challenges that the team has to overcome. So to overcome those and reach the milestone of completion is huge and exciting. And then to have that hard work recognized by the industry, by a panel of industry peers is fantastic and can create a connection with a project team that will survive for years to come.
It's quite the accomplishment when you're in the room, too, and just the vibe and the energy from the membership in the room. So what's new this year? I know we added some new categories. What's changed, and why do you think it's important that we recognize these new award categories?
Yeah. So each year we analyze the submittals, the membership, what's going on in the industry, what's going on in the province in general, and try to assess what additional things we should try to recognize as excellent, because excellence can be defined in a lot of different ways. And so in the past years, we've tried to identify, certainly innovation continues to come up, but also we were looking to identify any areas towards inclusion, equity, diversity. And then in addition to that, in past years, we've tried to get more content around Indigenous engagement as far as not necessarily just stakeholder engagement, but how are we using our Indigenous companies that are owned by Indigenous peoples, and how are we integrating those on projects? Those can be part of the request for submitting on a project, but in addition, I think just good reconciliation identifies the idea that we should be integrating more Indigenous companies on the projects that we complete in construction. So we want to recognize that level of excellence. And then this year, we took another step and looked at, 80% of construction companies are under 20 people. And this says entrepreneur, it says a lot of startups and small business. And so we created categories that are for companies that achieve a certain level of revenue on the lower side, so that these companies have a forum to compete and enter into the Awards of Excellence as entrepreneurs.
There really is a category for everyone when you look at the application process on the VRCA website. So, we often joke, Jeannine, when we're in the room, we have to shush people all the time because there's an excitement. Why does it matter so much now, given the uncertainty of the world, the rising cost of projects, where we're at as an industry as a whole? Why does this event matter so much?
Oh, so, the as we see, as you noted, the global uncertainty and federal and provincial investment in projects is changing, and federal and provincial investment in people, all of this can be a bit unsettling. Not having a long-term line of sight on what's going to happen in construction is uncomfortable, to say the least. So now more than ever, it's important for the community to gather together during these times and recognize and celebrate projects and people worthy of industry recognition. The pride and bond that can be created through this event is something that we can definitely live on for a few more months to come.
I think you nailed it there. When we talk about community, you get a room full of general contractors, trades, and it's kind of that camaraderie and everyone congratulating. That's where that shushing part comes in that I was
Yes.
referencing.
Yes. Well, I think interestingly, collaboration is a word I sometimes think about when we talk about construction, when an industry that was born out of competing, head-to-head competition with each other. And now we talk a lot more about collaboration than we ever did before. And I can remember, a mantra that was given to me many years ago when I worked in construction and engineering, collaboration for competitive advantage. But I think in addition, that collaboration is creating bonds from company to company where we are better able to recognize others' achievement, and be truly happy and celebrate them.
So one of the best parts of the night is hearing the stories behind all the projects that are nominated from past years. When you think of past years attending the awards and being president for the past couple award shows and ceremonies, what really stands out to you?
So I tell this story often when I stand up to introduce the Awards of Excellence. So I did work in construction and engineering before I was leading the association. And I can remember the strategy my company had around what we were submitting for the Awards of Excellence, how we were going to submit it, and just the excitement that came from submitting that project and potentially being recognized. And so the coming to the awards, we would get a tape when we made the, silver list. We would buy a table to the awards, and the team would come. And we even had a tradition when we won. We used to walk across the street to the Pan Pacific, and everyone would have a glass of champagne. Like, it just created this great bond with the group. And so, one of the best parts of the night for me is the excitement of the teams when they win, like the true joy on the faces of the project managers and the team when they win, and the excitement of the crowd celebrating them is just something that speaks to me.
I agree with you on that so much. And so, any final remarks? We still have a couple weeks, or a week rather, for the nomination process, and then we head into the awards, Silver Awards first, and then, of course, the Awards of Excellence on October 16th. So, any final remarks?
Sure. So I think of this, there used to be a mantra for the lottery, and it used to say, you can't win if you don't play. And this speaks to me for Awards of Excellence. You can't win if you don't submit your project, and your project is likely worthy of submission. We're doing so many amazing things here in the Lower Mainland that these projects need to be celebrated. So please get online, take a look at the AOE submission form. It is not onerous at all, and it's a great opportunity to recognize your company and your team for their efforts at excellence.
Well said. So the nomination period, once again, closes on April 15th, and the awards will be handed out on October 16th. Of course, head to vrca.ca for more information, and that is also where you will find past episodes of The Builder's Bench. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and invite your friends to take a seat on the bench. I'm Craig Larkins, and this is The Builder's Bench.